All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Inside the GEFA. I am Danny Morales, and I'm of course joined by Thor Marlowe and Cape Houston. James is going to be here, but he's going to be in the background this week. So, here is your host, a man that I cannot do a sarcastic intro this week because I forgot to do my research, Mr. Caleb Houston. Take it away, my good friend.
That's awesome. Keep it that way. You don't need to learn anything about me.
All right.
Well,
Yeti, yeti, yeti.
w welcome to the show this week, everybody. We're gonna go over week two games that we had. A couple of guests coming up. Then we're gonna talk about week three, the games coming up. Without wasting any time, let's get right into it. First game of week two. It was the Vikings hosting the Crusaders. Vikings on top 78-18. Thor, I know you were there. Talk about it real quick.
Um, Real quick, I definitely saw some improvements in the Crusaders organization from last year, and it's going to be nice that we'll get a chance to talk to Drew here in a little bit as one of our guests today. Um, Ultimately, though, uh, we just matched up better in every facet of the game. They had some injuries throughout. Um, So they had to have some guys step up in different roles, and they just weren't able to really get anything rolling on either side of the ball. So I think the game was right around 56-12 at halftime. Came out with running clock in the second half, kept control of things on the ground. I think we ended up with like 186 yards rushing on Saturday. But the Crusaders were good sports. They're one of those teams that they're just in their second season and trying to get their legs under them, and we played our depth. I mean, we probably only threw the ball, I think, 7 times on the entire day, but um, they came out, they gave us their best effort there, and they definitely got some good pieces.
Yeah, when I watch this film, I watch every film twice. This is the only one I didn't watch twice. There's just not much to learn from a second viewing. This was end-to-end domination by the Vikings and teams with championship aspirations. This is how you should dominate, lower level talent. Um, I want to say though, big shout out to my guy Holden Wallace, the largest end around of all time, I believe.
I think he picked up 22 yards on it.
24. I
24.
saw I watched it a couple times. I want to be exactly right. 24 yards. I'm calling it right now. That is the longest run and the most rushing yards by a center in league history. I don't know if that's true. I'm calling it though.
I mean, technically, he was the tight end in that play, though.
I know I said the same thing to him and he said the same thing to me. Primarily a center. I'm going with it. But yeah, this is what the Vikings should do to, teams that they're expected to beat. They should win wire to wire, leave no doubt. Um, there's not much you can say about a performance from the about like that from the Crusaders. I will say though, they play hard from start to finish. And it sounds like an insult to say that, they have heart. I know a lot of people say that as a joke, oh, they've got heart. They really do. And I would like to see the Crusaders play better this season. I would like to see their fortunes improve in the future, but they do have a scrappy bunch that will play hard. They're not going to quit on anybody. I don't see that in them this year. Any other thoughts?
I think we covered it pretty good.
All right, let's move on. The Legends went down to the Wolves, won that game 66-26. Or what's your thoughts?
Um, I mean, it's really hard to bring up this game and knowing that I wasn't there and got to watch it without talking about film quality. Man, that was really tough.
That's the first thought I had too.
It was really tough. Um, but ultimately, the same thing I feel like we've been saying about the Wolves. They showed us that they've got some intensity. They definitely try to rally to the ball, play aggressive where they can. I feel like there's some situations where they're just a bit undersized. And I felt like the Cyclone offense was just able to get things rolling. Um, again, or not Cyclone, Legends. I'm sorry, guys. It's taking me a while here. um, it took a while to get the Legends. Took that first week, second week to really get the Legends offense rolling smooth, and this week I think we got to see it really, just do what they needed at will. Took advantage of mistakes that the Mustangs did in spots that they left open, and as a whole, I mean, that's pretty much all I got on that game.
Yeah, this is another one of those, wire to wire, domination by the Legends over the Wolves. Again, film quality, really tough to see. The angle wasn't the best. I know there was some weather that day. I don't really feel like that affected it too much. Just it's more so where they set up at. That was tough to see. But I feel like the Wolves have had a really difficult start to the season schedule wise. I mean, you're talking about they've played like maybe the top three teams in the league, top three of the four teams in the league. And just I don't think they're good enough yet to be able to handle that kind of competition. And hopefully like they weather this storm and stick together. The difference I see from the Wolves, from the Legends, other than just talent wise, is the Legends can make a drive. And by that I mean they can put plays together to move the ball down the field. I have not seen that from the Wolves yet this year. They seem to live and die by the big play, and they're mostly dying by it. There's not a lot of structure within that offense. It's almost snap, drop back, go make something happen. There seems to be no rhyme or rhythm to what they're trying to do. And, they've gone through a very rough patches schedule here. Hopefully, some of these games coming up, they can work on some of these things. As far as the Legends are concerned, what did Brent say used to say? Business as usual. That's what this felt like to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely tougher teams because I believe they've faced Tomahawks, Comanche, and Legends. Tomahawks are one of their cross conference schedule games, but two of the games that they played are within conference rivals that they're also going to have to play again this season. So I know we can say that they ran into a couple tough ones in the beginning, but it's going to be a long season, and we'll get to see them in matchups with those same teams again, and hopefully it'll be improvement with each one.
What I like about these rematches in the season is now we get to see coaching acumen now among the league. I know there was a lot of talk about not wanting to play teams a second time for a long time. Let's see if these guys learn something when you're coming out of that second matchup. That's going to be the interesting part to see is if teams actually start putting things together based off of past games and past matchups, and maybe they saw something after that first game they can take advantage of in the second game. Who knows? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we also have until week 5 to add new talent to teams, and not every team came in at max capacity. So, when that second game comes around, there might be some key pieces that people were able to pick up or, bring back from off-season injury, and it's
Yeah,
the effect they've had on the game.
absolutely. You never know. Fortune could turn around real quick, but man, what a tough start for the Wolves. All right, moving on. We had the Comanche taking a ride to Williamsport, take on the Wildcats, went home with a 50-18 victory. I'll start this one real quick. This is another one of those, like we said, wire to wire finishes. It was never really in doubt. Comanche were in control for the entirety of the game. When you're talking about the trenches, and I said this last week, I thought that the Comanche might have the best offensive line in the league. And I think we've said it before, they probably have the best defensive line in the league. And it really showed in this game that Williamsport could not block a soul all day long. Not a lot of adjustments made as far as that was concerned. So it was just line up, pin your ears back and go get them. They've been the best in the league that I've seen so far this season, just getting after it. Um, the run game for the Comanche was strong all day. They didn't have to pass it too much. London Johnson was as dangerous running the ball as he was passing the ball. Uh, not I didn't see too many adjustments based on that from Williamsport. Williamsport's offense again seems to live and die by the big play. Not a lot of structure behind it. Haven't seen them put a lot of drives together this season either. That's about what I got out of it. What about you?
I'm right there with you. I mean, the things that definitely stood out the most were how much the Comanche controlled the trenches. Again, both sides of the ball. We've seen 2 games from the Wildcats so far. I feel like their offensive line struggling a little bit, but they're a unit that does typically get better as the season goes. So, we'll see what happens there. But they did. The Comanche took control of the game. On in the line in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and there was never a point where you felt like Williamsport was about to climb back in it. So I do feel like Williamsport's in one of those. I don't know if I'd call it a rebuild as much as a reload type of season. And they did get some new guys in, and they're another one that I expect will get better as the season goes. But I just felt like the Comanche were definitely clicking across the board a whole lot better than they were.
Yeah, 100%. This team is about on point as a team can be right now this early in the season, and it's really at this point just maintaining that focus and playing this way week in and week out. They're going to be very formidable for the rest of the league. The Williamsport, I'll say this: when J.R. Taylor came in at quarterback for Williamsport at one point, that offense looked better. Don't get me wrong, he still ran for his life the way the starter did, but when he came in, they actually were able to move the ball a little bit. It might be an option for them going forward.
I mean, and it has been for a while. I mean, I don't think there's been a season where he hasn't subbed in it and played some quarterback for like the last 3 or 4 years there. I mean, he absolutely has the ability to run the ball. He's got an arm and he's a vet. Whereas I think their other guy was somebody new coming in, and it's just going to take some adjustment time on his part. But we'll see going down the road.
Yeah, they got a game coming up next week. We'll talk about, no doubt. Should be a good one to see. Uh, all right. Final game of week 2 ended up being the best game of week 2. The Mifflin County Tomahawks traveled to Bedford County, took on the Buffaloes, and got out with a 40-36 victory.
Yeah. I only got to see a little bit of this film, but I read up on it as much as I could as well. And from what I saw, the first half was more controlled by the Buffaloes. I think they were up 36 to, I'm not sure what the Tomahawks had, but they were up at halftime and the adjustments were made. And when the Buffaloes came out the second half, the Tomahawks um, really tightened things down and shut the Buffalo offense out in the second half.
Yeah, so I got to watch this game twice. I don't know why they zoomed in on the picture, because normally when you watch a Buffalo film at home, they have the scoreboard down in the corner. It makes it really easy to keep track with the score and watching some of these games if you have a scoreboard. The camera didn't move that well with the ball. Not sure why. But as far as the game was concerned, if you went into this game, time well spent. This was a good game. And yeah, the Buffaloes did control it for a majority of the game, and going into that second half, maybe going to the fourth quarter. The energy from the Buffaloes at the start was not the same in that fourth quarter. The energy at the start for the Tomahawks was the same. I think that's the difference in this game, that the Tomahawks hustled 100% the entirety of the game. The Buffaloes looked a little down, maybe a little tired in that fourth quarter. The Buffalo, it feels like there's something off about them this year. I know that they had some roster turnover. The offense is essentially the same, I do believe. It doesn't feel like they're running it quite the same way. Um, their last year, their run game really was the setup to their pass game. Feels like they try to make the pass game work. I don't think that's the way they're built to play. But kudos to Mifflin County for making the adjustments and making the plays at the end when they needed to. A couple of costly turnovers by the Buffaloes, I think, was the difference in this one in the end of the game.
Yeah, it was definitely a big road win for Mifflin County. Road win in the conference. Next time they see each other, Buffaloes are going to have to travel over to Kish Park to square up with them, and that doesn't get any easier.
No, it doesn't. And really, I also, this is not Buffalo like. They've not been able to close out 2 wins at home. Forget about just closing out the 2 wins. This is 2 wins at home. This is where you're supposed to be at your best, and now they can't close out 2 games, and they might be in trouble coming up because the game next week for them does not get any easier at all. Danny, you got any thoughts?
I didn't see the games because I've been busy, so
Uh,
no thoughts at all.
all right.
You know me, you don't hear from me till the picks.
You want me to go ahead and get Rob the link?
Yeah. So after all that, a very interesting week 2. I think a couple things got more clear across the league. Very interesting week 4 coming up, but we do have a guest here coming up, or week 3. I'm sorry, week 4.
Drew, if you're watching, our plan is to bring right after Rob. We're just running a couple minutes behind what we were planning for time wise. So the standings right now, Caleb.
Yes, go ahead.
Fill everybody in on where we're at after technically week 2, but 3 weeks of play for some teams, 2 weeks of play for others.
I don't have the exact standings, but I do have records.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So the undefeateds right now in the league are the Comanche at 3-0 and the Vikings at 3-0. Legends, Tomahawks both 2-1. Buffaloes at a surprising 1-2. And then bringing up the rear are the Wildcats 0-2, Wolves 0-3, Crusaders 0-2, all looking for their first win this week coming up. Looks like we got our guest in here. Just waiting for him to go live.
Yep.
How we doing? So we do have Rob Albro queued up, ready to go. Just waiting for him to be live. Talk to him about the game he just had. Comeback win against the Buffaloes, and then game next week. Tomahawks are playing the Crusaders.
Or waiting on Rob here. I do want to give props to the Crusaders there for their away jerseys were great, and I feel like the logo that they came up with for this season is top notch. I really dig it.
Props to any team that gets all their uniforms in. Too many times over the years we saw some teams not have full uniforms,
Yeah, week
and
one,
they're
yeah,
not around anymore.
right.
Okay, I just looked up the logo on Google. Holy crap, that is one of the coolest logos I've ever seen in anything. That is insane.
All right, Rob, we got you on camera now. We need you to unmute.
I'm here.
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and
What's going
gentlemen,
on?
quarterback of the Mifflin County Tomahawks, Rob Albro. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Good, good. Let's talk about this game you just had. Comeback win. Um, talk about the first half facing adversity. What are you guys thinking going into this one?
Is this for me?
Yeah, it's for you. This is all about you here.
Going into the game, I mean, we knew what I played them probably 10 times in the last couple of years or so. We knew what we were getting into, honestly. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. Um, the Buffs are probably the most disciplined team in the league. I mean, I told the team that uh, the Tomahawks have never beat them. Personally, me, I've never lost to them. So it was kind of I think the team listened to me a lot. We got into the game. Um, they were firing, coming around. They did what they had to do early. I think that defensively, we were a little, um, our game plan just didn't work flat out. It wasn't what we wanted to do. We made some changes in the second half. Offensively, we made a couple changes, a couple adjustments, took what they gave us. For me personally, I gotta get the ball to the playmakers. We got a ton of playmakers. I just gotta do a better job of getting them the ball quick, let them make the plays, stop, trying to do too much. And I think that was the big difference.
Yeah, talk about the your defensive performance by the defense this week. I know you said it was rough in the first half. You guys really locking it down in the second half. Levi Cook was running for his life a lot.
Yeah, Levi.
Running lanes that were open for them have all of a sudden closed up. How about that defensive performance by your team?
I think that running back is a stud, man. Like I tried to tell the guys before the game, like if you guys come in there and you try to tackle high, he's gonna run you over. He's gonna knock your helmet off. He actually did knock someone's helmet off too, ironically. But I told them if you don't get low, it's gonna be a long day. Levi's another one. He's a stud, man. Like he plays hard every game and every single play. And I told him we have to be disciplined. And I think the big difference is where. Um, we just weren't disciplined. I think we were just a little too jitty in the beginning of the game where they did a lot, they do a lot of motions and stuff, and we have guys falling out of place. Our game plan is this, and our players weren't sticking to the game plan. I think once we let the coaches coach, we stuck to the game plan. We made big differences. They didn't score in the second half, and that was the big thing. I think we tried to. There was a lot of individualism in the first half, where the second half we came together and we made huge stops. I mean, they bailed me out a couple times. I made a couple poor decisions, and defense got me the ball right back. And that was the big difference.
Yeah, that was late in the game. Couple of fumbles by the Buffaloes, uncharacteristically actually. You don't see McLeister fumble. You don't see Levi fumble, and you guys are able to take advantage of those big time turnovers there.
Yeah, we got some studs on defense, man. I mean, we
I'm
got some
gonna
nice players.
I'm gonna shout one guy out because he popped on the screen, number 52, Jordan Cruz. If you didn't block him, your play was done.
Yeah,
And when you
Cruz.
and when you did have him blocked, you better keep blocking him or your play was done. He
Yeah.
he he balled out on that defensive line, especially in that second half.
Ironically, in the first half, he was the one player who was probably messing us up the most, man. If you watch the film, I'm not gonna say too much, but if you watch the film and you know, the thing is with that team, you have to know how to stop the option. And you know what I mean? If you don't know how to stop it, if you don't know your assignments, like your D tackle who he has, your DN who he has, and your linebackers who they have, I think I was blessed because I got to play with some great linebackers and they knew what to do and we studied them and we played them really well. And carrying over to a new team, it's like this is how you beat them. What are we going to do? And Cruz was the one player that I was on. He's actually one of my guys who I brought to the team. And I told him he's one of those studs that's like, man, I don't care who it is, who they are. I'm better than him, and that's how he is. And I'm like, look, I don't care what you think. This team is really good. If you go in there thinking that you're going to beat this team by yourself, we're going to lose. And early in the early in the second half, he said, you know what? I got humbled. I keep making the wrong read, and I got to do this. And you see early in the second half, like his reads change immediately, and the game just he was a different maker, definitely.
So when you're going into the game last week, I know you watched this show. You have to.
I didn't watch it
Ah,
last week. I didn't
but you
watch it
had
last week.
you had to know every damn one of us picked against you. Of
No, I heard that you did.
course I did. I'm trying to
Yeah.
win I'm trying to win a some sort of thing that I don't know what they have here anymore on the show, but I'm trying to win it. I was
Well,
wrong. I'm not too big to admit I was wrong. I told you I was wrong.
hmm
But like when you go into a game and there's no one that believes in you, they all picked against you. And how do you use that? Like, what do you say to the team when everyone has just picked against you on something like that?
Typically, honestly, like I said, I watched it the first, I think 2 weeks. Last week, I didn't get a chance to check it, but people sent it to me and they told me what you guys were saying and stuff. For me personally, the older you get, you need like a part of me didn't want to play and a part of me wanted to play. And a part of me that did want to play was the part that's like you got a chip on your shoulder. Like you got haters, you got doubters, you got to prove them. That's just how I've always been my whole life. I've always been like, I feel not, I want to say the underdog, but yeah, the underdog where it's like people were doubting you. So, and this year was the year. It's perfect that you said that. This is the year that it was like, you know what? If I don't have my respect in this league by this time, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna take it. Whoever doubts me, whoever says anything, like if you don't give me it, I'm just coming. I'm just taking it. Like it's mine. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I'm taking it. I'm snatching it from you. And this was that game that was like, Coach Rogers said all week, this is a must-win game. We cannot lose this game. If we lose this game, we're in trouble. And he meant that. He said it all game long. And this was the game that was like, look, everyone, he said it, everyone's doubting us. No one thinks we're going to win. It's you gonna shut up or you go put up. And at the half, actually, we had a nice speech. It got real dramatic, extremely dramatic, actually. It was super intense at halftime. And I think that's what like clicked for players when they seen like how serious I was. And there were no smiles. It was not a lot of communication after that. We kind of just split up and everyone came together without saying too much. But I personally, I like it. I like it. It's a lot harder when people are saying that you are not going to lose and you're the favorite and all of this. When people are for you, it's a lot easier, I think. But when people doubt you or hate on you or whatever, it kind of builds something. Like it's only two people in the world. You either going to fold, you know what I mean, or you going to stand up. And me personally, I'm the type of person, when you talk to me, like you only gonna make me better. You know what I mean? When you doubt me, you're only gonna make me better. So I think that's what I'm trying to rub off on the team. And I think, you know what I mean, the Buffs are a really good team, and I think we did what we had to do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
Go ahead,
board.
Thor.
I mean, I predicted an overtime game, and Caleb, I think you're real close too. I mean, we knew it was going to be a dogfight with you guys. We've seen a real like high motor, aggressive defense. We've seen some real explosive ability on your guys' offense, and you know, props because like Roger said, it was a big game. Everybody that brought up the game going into this was like, "Hey, this Buffalo's Tomahawks game really is going to matter when it comes down to only 4 teams making it into the dance at the end of this." So, hats off to you, Tomahawks, and
Man, I get them doubting us, but you, dog, you ain't supposed to. Damn, dog,
hey,
you.
I
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
I
how
that's
dare you, Thor?
crazy.
I
How
said
dare
that it
you?
was going to go to overtime. I said it
The
was time.
audacity.
Yep, I know.
Well, hey, look, I like it.
So, second go around with Rogers here with Tomahawks. What's it like coming back to that environment, being coached under Brian again?
Um, I'm gonna say it's different, honestly. I kind of feel like the first time around, it was kind of like, it was like he had a really good core of guys. And I felt like that team that I joined already was a championship team. Like they were already in the championship without me. So when I got there, they were kind of like they wanted me for one specific role. And I'm not like no one knows me in the league. I didn't really know too many people at all in the entire league, but that's just not me. I'm not one type of, you know what I mean? I'm not like that type of person you just put in a box. So I don't think that he really knew that of me yet until later. And we didn't really have, when I was there, we didn't really have that type of relationship. Honestly, I don't think we ever text, honestly. And on like, we never text, I don't think one time the 2 years that I played for him. It was never a text. Now we text every day, literally every single day, multiple times a day. We text a lot. It's a lot of communication. It's pretty cool. I see a different person out of him, and I'm sure he sees a different person out of me. So it's a lot different, honestly.
Very nice. So, I mean, I got one more question for you. Obviously, I think I know how you're going to answer this.
Hmm.
Going forward, you're now 2-1, big time win over the Buffaloes. How far do you see this Tomahawk team going this season?
We got a lot of work. Part of me, I mean, you know me personally, so Thor obviously too. It's hard to be. We have a lot of work. I'll say that. There's no doubt in my mind that we could win the whole thing. I know that what we're up against. I know the teams that we're up against, and I know our team isn't today. We're not a championship team today, but in the future, and to me, if we don't win the championship, the season's a failure. Honestly, that's how I am. Like if we make it to the championship, we make it to the playoffs, and if we don't win it all, we failed in my view. But I know we have a lot of work to do. So right now, honestly, I'm not even thinking of anyone but, week 4, who we have right now. And that's honest to God truth. Like I don't even think about who we have after that. Right now we have the Crusaders. We got to get their job. I'm not sleeping on them. I've lost a few games that I shouldn't have lost. So that's who I'm focused on right now.
I mean, that kind of leads us right into the question that I was gonna um, wrap up the interview with is you guys have Indiana County this week, road game for you guys. I think they're gonna get you guys on a turf field, um, which I know some of your guys athletes are gonna thrive on. Um, give us a quick overview about what you're expecting and what the Tomahawks are thinking leading into this game.
I mean, we're expecting a football game. We're expecting them to come out, bring out their best guys, give us their best fight. We're expecting to get in there and do what we got to do. And I mean, we're ready to go to war. Do I think we're going to go to war? Honestly, I don't think so. But I mean, if who knows? The good thing that I will say about football in general, but even with this league, that a lot of people like the young crowd coming in, like all arrogant and stuff, they don't know like this game is a matchup game. Like, not specifically our game. I'm saying the game of football is all about matchups. We might match up better versus a poor team or a better team than a different team. Like for instance, like Comanche might be, let's just say they're the best team in the league. There might be a better team, like the Vikings might be fit better to beat them, but we might be fit better to beat, the Legends, where the Legends might beat Comanche or whatever it is. I'm just saying, like, each team is based off of matchups. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like, you can lose to a team just because you don't match up well with them. Um, and that's something that I'm teaching the guys like consistently. Like, look, man, we gotta don't worry about running the ball 100 times or passing the ball 100 times. We're going to take what they give us. Like if they come out in this defense, this is what we're going to do. If they go out in that offense, this is what you got to take from that. Every game has to be focused on that specific game. Like this game right now, we do. Of course, we have people who are like our team is film junkies. Like they're watching film all the time, and they seen what the last game was, and they just. I have a bunch of people like, man, we watched 3 minutes of it and we turned the game off. Like the Vikings, that was bad film. And I'm just like, I'm telling them don't think like that because the Vikings do one thing. That's not us. That's not our team. We have to do what we have to do. And more than that, like in this type of league, but at this time, you don't really practice. So this is a time to get out there. If we have a nice size league, like the one thing I am going to say is no matter what, we're going to play. You know what I mean? And I'll tell I know their owner pretty well. I'm gonna tell them respectfully. Don't think that like we're trying to disrespect you or do any weird stuff by like scoring, like trying to spit in your face or whatever, but we're playing to play. Like you guys just said, this is a four teams are making the playoffs. So who knows what the tiebreakers come down to? You know what I mean? Like we're playing to win, but we're playing to win the ultimate game. So we're going out for 4 quarters to play. We're not going out for 2 quarters. I'm not going to say that we're going to kill them or this is what we expect, but we're playing 4 full quarters. We're not playing 2 quarters. I'm saying that right now off the rip.
Awesome. You can go ahead and stay with us if you want here. We really appreciate you coming on today, Rob. We're going to add Drew from the Crusaders. We kind of paired him up to be our other guest because you were on to talk about the last game and happened to be playing him this week. And we're going to go ahead and talk to Drew about a couple of things, and I'll get him on here.
Appreciate y'all having me.
So who we got next, boys?
We got Drew coming on. He just joined the podcast here. We're giving him a second to get his mic working and get his camera going. It looks like he's with us. Thanks for joining us, Drew.
Yes, sir.
For you guys that don't know, Drew is one of the owners, but player on the Indiana County Crusaders team. This week he's going to be matching up against Rob Albro in the Mifflin County Tomahawks, and we wanted to bring him on here and just ask him a couple questions and get a little information on Indiana and how things are going. And we appreciate you coming on. Caleb, you want to start with questions here? Or you want me to dive right into it?
Go ahead, Thor. You got. I held the last one. You head up this one.
All right.
I'll chime in at some point.
Sounds good. So you guys are a second year team. Last year you guys were in some battles and didn't end up coming out on top of any. But through communication through the offseason, it seems like you guys had a lot of people interested in the team, and you guys are going to bring in some new talent, and it seems like you picked up some people that from the minors organization that folded, that have impacted your team. And I just wanted to ask you, first of all, like, just tell us about how some of the new talent that's came in has affected you guys and how they're meshing with the culture, and what you guys have been trying to get going out in Indiana County.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that are coming in from the minors I played with already. I used to play for the minors before I started the Crusaders. They're mixing in pretty well. For right now, it's definitely a different culture than what they're used to. Different plays, different coaching. And we're just looking to build on that overall, just building chemistry with each other once again. And then with our starting quarterback getting hurt in week 1, it's just we're trying to move me back into playing quarterback and then just get our offense back up and rolling to what it would have been if he wasn't hurt. So
right. Yeah, I saw you guys worked with you at quarterback a good bit this week. The number 18, I'm not 100% what his name was. Looked like you played some quarterback too, and it's good to see that they're meshing well with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Number 18, Chris Clevenger. He's a hell of an athlete, receiver. He hasn't taken a snap since our first scrimmage last year, and then the game against you guys last year. So we were both a little rusty, but overall, he's a great athlete and he's a good attribute to have. Part of the team, great leader. So
he played corner some for you last year too, right?
Yeah, corner and safety. Once again, he's just an overall athlete. He went and played for the Outlaws for a little bit beforehand, but he's doing a great job overall, coming in as a leader and just being a good team player this year.
Now I know like clock time differences matter and stuff like that, but I like to look at numbers. I saw your first 2 matchups this year happen to be tough matchups. Now, granted, you're in the same conference as them, so when they say, well, I got tough games early, if they're in your conference, I mean, in my opinion, big shit. You're going to have to play them twice as it is. So you're going to see them early and you're probably going to see them late. You know what I mean? But you drew the 2 teams that played in the championship last year, and I'm sure going into the off season, you're looking at that on your schedule and trying to get as ready as possible. How did that affect your team? What was your guys' mindset approaching that?
To be honest, all off season we looked at is we're just trying to get better from last year. Playing Bedford last year and it ending at halftime due to a ref dilemma, we all kind of had a chip on our shoulder. We wanted to come in and prove something. We wanted to put numbers up on the board, and then we kind of did just that. We don't feel like that they walked all over us like they did last year. And then the week after we played you guys, we figured it was going to be a matchup that you guys are a great team. We all knew it. We were watching film. Not the outcome we expected to happen, but once again, we're still moving forward with the quarterback dilemma. And me, I gotta make better reads and make sure I'm getting the ball to our key athletes. But like I said, I haven't played quarterback in a while. That's not my position, but I definitely think we'll be making some changes that'll make that work and hopefully win the game.
Yeah, I looked at numbers. I think those 2 matchups last year versus this year, your defense ultimately gave up exactly the same amount of points, but your offense was able to put together roughly somewhere around 32 to 34 more points this year in those matchups than you were last year. So, I mean, numbers don't say everything, but I mean, numbers are numbers. You know what I mean? So it seems like your offense is a bit more potent this year. You got some things going there. Duke, I'm always terrible about pronouncing his last name.
Rick Rosaic.
Yeah. I mean, he's made a big impact on your offense. We've seen him with the Thunder. We saw him with the Miners, and then we saw him with you guys. And each team he's been on, he's been a big impact. And then that number 2 kid that you guys have too,
Yeah, Cade.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up playing on our sideline more of the game. Solid ball player, and you guys are picking up those pieces that you get to build off of. We'll see how the season goes.
I'm grateful for those athletes. Our offensive line isn't giving up quite as many sacks as they did last year, which I'm definitely grateful for. Our offensive line is definitely coming together with those 3 up front that we had this past game. And then with Cage, the kid's just a phenomenal athlete. We went to school together. Me and him grew up together. We played ball all through high school together. He's always been a phenomenal athlete that just came out and took control of the game. He's one of those. And then with Duke coming up, I'm just grateful to get to play the game with him again. He came up, very respectful kid. He's definitely a true leader. Grateful to have him.
So, outside of our matchup, the next game you got to have circled on your calendar, of course, is Mifflin County. We talked about you guys having a matchup. You're back home. You've had, two pretty tough opponents. You've had a time to kind of grease the gears and get things rolling. How do you guys feel about this matchup with Mifflin County coming to town?
We're definitely grateful to be home. We're giving all of us an upgrade from that mud slop we played in week 1 to a nice turf field. Once again, though, we've been watching film on Mifflin County. They're definitely not a walk in the park team that we're going to just be able to walk all over. Their defense is phenomenal. And then with Robert as a quarterback, he's doing a great job. It's definitely not going to be an easy game. And I defer to say anything more than that because we have our own work that we have to do. I'm not going to say if we're going to win or if we're going to lose, but we're definitely going to give it 100% of everything that we have. And whatever happens, happens after that.
Smart man. He's right there. Don't give him any bulletin board material, buddy.
Awesome. I appreciate you coming on here, Drew. I'm going to give you a second here. I know that, again, not only are you a player, but you're also one of the owners for the Crusaders. Is there anything, from an organization standpoint, while you're on the podcast that you might want to throw out there, say to people, this is your opportunity?
Quite frankly, it's not even really down to our 2 ownership. We have a whole board with Rachel Snow, which is our treasurer, and Tristan Booker as our head coach. This doesn't come down to our organization as a whole. It doesn't come down to 2 decisions as ownership. We make those decisions as a group, and we're working with a lot of people, whether it's money issues, whether more or less just fundraising, stuff like that. Just grateful to have them along to help us move forward without the league. And I think that's what helps us bring more people on so they understand the league a little bit better.
Awesome. Well, Caleb, you got anything you want to throw in here at the end?
No, I think he said everything that I would add a question for. I think he answered everything I would have asked him. So
awesome.
No, I'm good. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next we're gonna go ahead and go through our breakdowns for the next week. Drew just popped out of here, and Rob, again, thank you for coming on here. We appreciate your insight, and everybody who's been around the league for a while does know your name. That if they don't know who I am yet, stuff is crazy. Only the new people don't, but they'll learn. I look forward to seeing you on film as the season goes, man. And
yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Best of luck this weekend, man. Have a good one.
All right, my man.
All right, man. Appreciate those 2 coming on. We asked them today. Very grateful that they came on.
absolutely.
But let's get into the games. We'll start with the one with the players we just talked to. The Tomahawks at the Crusaders. I think Drew said it himself. It's going to be a tough matchup for them. I think with the way that the Tomahawks just played the Buffaloes and the victory they just had. And like Rob said, they're taking it one game at a time. It's impossible to not feel good when you come back and win like they did. But I just think talent-wise, the disparity is just it's too large to overcome right now for the Crusaders. I'm gonna go Tomahawks 63-12.
Tomahawks 50, Crusaders, I don't know, 15.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely expect the Crusaders to come out and put up every bit of a fight that they can. You have a Tomahawks team that's coming off a big win, and it's probably going to unify people a little bit, and we'll see who travels. So, a little bit of advantage goes to the fact that the Crusaders are at home, but I'm going to go Tomahawks 52, Crusaders 20.
Sounds good. Moving on. Next game, Williamsport is going to take a trip down to take on the Wolves. This is interesting. This is a good matchup.
It is.
And it's the reason it's second on the docket because I think the two in front of it are better, but this is a good matchup. This is like I said, when we talked about their games previous earlier on the show, this is two offenses that live and die by the big play. There's not a ton of adjustments being made as far as scheme wise for the offense. They really do they're airing it out. They're going blow for blow. I think whoever has the ball last might end up winning this game. I'm going Wildcats for this one, 24-18, a close barn burner.
Yeah, I mean, I really think, and again, I mean, it's just fundamental football. Trench play is really going to matter. Trench play in this game is going to be everything. I mean, I think there's going to be a couple of potential big special teams plays. We'll see who's got more heart and hustle on that side of the ball. I feel like the Wolves defense, again, they've been a little bit undersized, but they're aggressive, and Williamsport's offensive line may be a little bit undersized. So, like you said, this matchup could be great. I think, though, that it's going to be more like Williamsport 48, Wolves 42.
Let's go Williamsport, I don't know, 30, Wolves 25.
Who do you think of these two has the better defense, the Wolves or the Wildcats?
Depends on what play.
That's a funny response. So you say, like, who do you think plays the run better? Because I think if you're going run pass overall defense, these two are almost neck and neck for me.
Right.
And it was so tough to pick this game. Like, I picked everything else before I picked this one. I think this comes down to athletes, and I think Williamsport has the better athletes. You can take, like, the trench stuff. I think is just it's gonna even itself out with both sides of the line of scrimmage for both teams. I think that the athletes for the Wildcats are gonna take over late. Like I said, it could be low. It could be a low scoring game. This could be a high scoring game, but I think it's a 6-point game either way. All right, moving on. The Buffaloes are taking a trip to Dauphin County, taking on the Comanche. This one could be interesting as well. I think that in the trenches, this one will really be a deciding factor because, I think I've been saying it. I think you agreed with me earlier. Comanche are the best on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. The Buffaloes can be very good. They can be almost sneaky good. But I think they wear down late in games. I think that's where the issue's been for their two home games. I think if the Buffaloes can take control of the line of scrimmage, they can keep this one close. That Comanche running game is so good, though. It's so good. I can't go against the Comanche. I think that defense is stout, and they're gonna watch what the Tomahawks ever do in the second half against the Buffaloes and apply that the whole game. I got Comanche 45-24.
I'm about the same spread and score. I think the Comanche win this one like 40-20. Yeah, I mean, the Buffaloes have worn down on their O-line and their D-line in the fourth quarter. We've seen that a couple of different times. They're just not the same up front as they were last year. I mean, I know that, or I hear that, Cook came into this not sure if he was going to play. I know he's physically played a tough game already. And it's a road game for the Buffaloes. I think the Comanche control this game, and and win it by like right around 20 points. But with all this running, the clock just may be going all day and maybe a quick game. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to be Comanche 35, the other team 30.
Yeah, and you have some respect. It is the Buffaloes.
The Buffaloes.
Okay, the Buffaloes 30.
He said the
Comanche
other
35,
team.
Buffaloes 30.
Damn. The other team. I could see
The other
Dembauer
team.
and them.
Sorry, Buffaloes.
The
I
other
genuinely forgot who was playing the Comanche this week. I did not mean to diss you guys, I swear.
Danny, never change. Never change, Danny.
Don't plan on it.
All right. Last game of the week. It's my pick for game of the week. So much going on in this game. Vikings undefeated. Legends are on a roll right now. It's a giant reunion. Last year's champion coming together from two different squads. Man, this could be high scoring. This could be low scoring. I just took the averages of each team's scores for the total points through 3 games, and I came out Legends 56, Vikings 48. I could see this going either way, but the ability of the Legends to put drives together has been the difference in the last 2 weeks, I think, since that Comanche loss in week 0. The Vikings have played stout on defense all season long. And and you're talking about last week's quality of opponent, not that good. They handled like they're supposed to. This is a very fun matchup. And I think we've said it numerous times, whoever wins that line of scrimmage usually wins these games. If the Vikings can control the line of scrimmage on defense, they could win this game. Because you got to find a way. I know that no one's answered the question yet. How do you stop Greg? I've not seen anyone do it yet in over 10 years. But if the Vikings can find a way, they can find a win to win this game. That is yet to be seen. Legends 56, Vikings 48. Danny, what you got?
I honestly think that the Vikings are gonna keep on winning. I don't think the Legends have anything to stop it. I'm lone wolfing this, but it's gonna be close. Vikings 46, Legends 43.
You're not a lone wolf here, Danny.
Yeah, if we're being technical here, Thor's not picking against his own team.
Never will, never would.
So I woo, baby. I'm lone wolfing it. I woo. It's what you're getting out of me. Sound like a sick puppy. I woo. Lone sick puppying it. Thor, before we close this out, keys to the game for you. Tell us your plan. What are you gonna do on Saturday?
Oh yeah, let me just lay everything out here. I got my list right here. We're gonna come out and play as a unit. I mean, we talked earlier about how we had some new faces come in, and we've had some people come in and play big time roles. And I feel like as a team, we're gelling together more and more each week, and we're excited for every game that we face on Saturday. So it'll be good to see Greg and Nyhart and Gilchrist and the whole crew, and from last year, and there's guys on the Legends team that I've known for years, and it's always good to see them. Even when they were with the Cyclone organization, our games between each other were always civil and appreciated what each other did. So I'm expecting a hell of a game, and it'll be good to see some friends this weekend. And
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time for sure. Nice to see the 2024 champs get together and duke it out. That is our show. We made it, fellas. Sans James Simerson. Some say even better than before.
Maybe the best show of the season?
If you believe that's true, spam James Simerson right now for me.
I had to do it. You guys
Go
that
ahead.
had to do it. Well, that's it for the GEFA.
Oh,
Inside the GEFA, we want to thank our two guests. Oh, so you want to say something?
yeah, 1 second. Caleb,
Yeah.
James wants you to say hi to your mom for him.
No. You know what? No. Before we sign off, James, listen. You gotta be in person to say that. Don't be texting at the people, okay? You gotta be here to say that. Get that mug back on camera and say it yourself.
All right,
We
Danny,
gotta wait to see if he does.
take
He
us on.
texted.
All right, well, that was another week of Inside the GEFA. We want to thank our two special guests for coming on this week. For Thor, for Caleb, for James. My name is Dana Morales. We will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.